Some of us are outwardly successful, but inwardly feel unhappy and living a life lacking in purpose and meaning. The Necktie and the Jaguar by Carl Greer can help you discover what's important to you and how to go for it. For more information or to purchase the book, visit carlgreer.com. That's CarlGreer.com.
Grab a cup of tea or a glass of wine and tune in for Inspired Conversations with publisher Linda Joy. On Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, Linda creates sacred space for leading female luminaries, empowering authors, heart-centered female entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers. A soulful venue where guests openly share the fears and obstacles they've overcome, wisdom and lessons learned, and the personal journey that led them to the transformational work they do in the world. Inspired Conversations to empower you on your path to authentic, soulful living.
Welcome to Inspired Conversations. I'm your host, Linda Joy, intentional living guide, mindset mojo mentor, and best-selling publisher, and founder of Aspire Magazine, the premier inspirational digital mag for women that has been inspiring, empowering, and supporting women for 16 years. You can grab your free subscription at aspiremag.net. I got to tell you, my friends, we can all agree that stress is not in short supply right now, especially over the past 18 months. In fact, part of living this life, stress, you can say, is inevitable. But here's the great news, my friends. Succumbing to stress is not inevitable. We can learn healthy ways to cope with challenging situations. And with me today, Dr. Dravon James. She has her prescription for turning stress into everyday peace. Dr. James is the founder of Everyday Peace, the host of Everyday Peace on Unity Radio, a life coach, and the author of Freedom is Your Birthright. As an inspirational speaker, Dravon's goal is to educate, empower, and inspire others to build the life of their dreams, no matter what shows up in their lives, good, bad, or otherwise. Welcome, Dravon.
Oh, thank you for having me, Linda. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
I am too. It's such an important topic. And so many are struggling, as you know, with stress. And, you've been featured on ABC, in so many other platforms, sharing your message. So first, I always love to ask my guests, what led you to the message of Everyday Peace and the work that you're doing in the world?
Oh, thank you for that question. I love talking about this because everything that happens to us, the good, the bad, and everything in between can be used for the greater good to get us to our next level of greatness. Another way of saying that is to get us to our next level of service. They are one and the same. And I like to say that my journey here, people always say to me, oh, how did a pharmacist get involved in this? And I always say it's really the opposite way around. How did a person who's connected in this way get involved in pharmacy? Because this sort of happened simultaneously, but I think this was brewing my interest in what I call peace. And by the way, the definition that we use for peace and everyday peace is that peace is wholeness, completeness, nothing missing, nothing broken, totality. And so while I think that was brewing in me from the very beginning, from childhood, because my mom, we had a very tumultuous childhood situation, but my mom kept us grounded in a few things, and that was church, and then what people now back then called alternative, religion, but New Thought organizations. And so that was there. But then when I turned 17, my brother, just by happen chance, gave me the book, The Power of Positive Thinking by Vincent Peale. And I read it the first time. And if you think in terms of a cartoon, which I sometimes do, the stars and the moon started shooting across the sky inside of me. And there it was like, eureka, this is what I want to do with my life. I want to help people tap into and turn on to this presence within them, this knowing within them, the fact that they are peace, they are whole, they are complete, no matter what's going on in the external world. And then it took a lifetime, Linda, as you know, to try to package all that studying that I had been doing over the course of the years and all the life experiencing and all the working with, different individuals to come together with with a theory and a philosophy that I developed called Everyday Peace. So I used everything, and it sort of used me, I guess, is the answer to get to this place of service.
What a beautiful story. And we have something in common. It was Norman Vincent Peale's Power of Positive Thinking that turned my life around 30 years ago, as well as a book by Florence Scovel Shinn. Um, so I can really relate with the stars and the moons and the light bursts, because it was like, what?
Yes.
That I so get it. So I was feeling it as you were saying it, because I'm like, oh, I get that. I get it. That's what happened to me. It was like, what? I am not a victim of my circumstance. I can co-create my life, and I
Right.
have that power. I'm like, I heard I call angel music. Oh,
Yes.
so I can, like, your story just touched my heart, because I can truly relate. And what's funny is you have one heck of a background, as you were saying. You have pharmacy, inspirational speaker, author. You're an actress whose career credits include a recurring role on HBO's acclaimed The Wire, stage plays, independent films. And here you are today talking about everyday peace. And I get what you shared. It's this, your life led you to your purpose, right? And
Yes.
and it's almost like an unfolding. That's how I feel about my life. It's an unfolding. You just kept following the steps, staying true, doing your inner work, and then here you are. This is your soul's purpose.
Yeah, and I love that. And I got to say, Florence Scofield Shinn, another person that I had that eureka moment with, and I still go back and read the books over and over again, just to keep myself fresh and keep it. Some books you have to go back and just you see something new every time in it. But you're right, when you follow your journey, and it sounds back when I started, Linda, I got to tell you, people would say that to me, do the work, and I was so baffled by what they meant. Do the work. What is the work? But I've come to find out is the work is staying in this moment, staying grateful, and just being in this place of evolving, right? Staying aware, staying grateful, and being willing to evolve. And that last one, the word for evolve is the word that most people dislike, is change, right? Being willing to change doesn't mean you have to change who you are on your foundational beliefs, but it means that as times change, and we're living in some tremendous changing of times. I'm reminded of what's that? The Tale of Two Cities. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. And I love that line, because that could be true about anything. But definitely during this season of the pandemic, most of us probably are having that experience, that what it means to be so unsure about tomorrow. But if we're really, really paying attention, some wonderful discoveries are probably happening within ourselves. And being open to that and being in flow with that is so important. It's so very important.
It's the key. And something that you just shared has really made a difference in my life too, is my gratitude practice. 30 years ago, I was a welfare mom, runaway, high school dropout, you name it, queen of self-sabotage. And I remember Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life. It was the first personal development book I picked up. And she said, do a morning gratitude practice and share 5 things that you're grateful for. And Dravon, I remember going, well, I don't have anything to be grateful for. This is what's going on in my life. That energy that we can fall into.
Mm-hmm.
But I did it. I kept doing it. And some days it was a struggle. And I know that practice changed the trajectory of my life. 3 months later, I added the evening, and 30 years later, I'm still doing it. But now I live in the essence of gratitude. And it sounds that you do too, and you teach that, because my truth is that's what helped me calm the decades of anxiety and depression. But it comes back to what you said a moment ago, being in the present moment. When you are in gratitude, you are here. You're not projecting ahead or ruminating on the past. Is that your experience?
Yes, so wonderful. And I'm so grateful that you brought up this, because gratitude, the practice of gratitude, is so essential, and it is the foundational cure, if you will. And I talk in terms of that. Sometimes I've been practicing pharmacy for 31 years, but the the foundational cure is this gratitude piece, because one, you're right, it keeps us in the present moment, because we find things to be grateful for now. And I want to tell everyone that no matter where you are, people feel like, oh my gosh, you've been doing this for, I started this practice when I was 17. It's hard to believe it's been that many years. And so you must be perfect at it. It is called a practice for a reason, right?
Yeah.
And that means that it is constantly going to be something that we are working on, that we make progress in. We don't perfect, right? Perfection is the goal. Progress is the practical application, right? That gets us along that progress. And so I want to share this story. It just popped in my heart. So I hope that somebody can get some use out of this. But after many years of practicing gratitude, as you mentioned, in 2015, I went through a tremendous shakeup in my life. That is that word, change in my life. And in everyday peace, I work on what I call the pyramid, and having harmony on this pyramid. On one side of the pyramid is your health, on the other side of the pyramid is your wealth, and on the other side of the pyramid are your relationships. And we strive to create harmony in that pyramid, and thereby have this life experience and become the happiest person that we know. Well, in 2015, my health was challenged. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder. My 20-year marriage started crumbling apart, and I lost my job. So there was my pyramid, right?
Wow.
Right. And I said, well, look at that, right? And I remember just what you said when you said this part a moment ago about, well, I don't have that much to be grateful for. So I do this gratitude practice called active gratitude first thing in the morning when I open my eyes. And I remember one day opening my eyes, and of course, habit is I'm going to grab my little index card and I'm going to write down 3 things that I'm grateful for. And in that moment, I felt my eyes start to tear up, and I thought, well, gosh, what am I thankful for? What is it that I'm grateful for? And automatically, because I had trained myself through practice that there has to be something in this moment. Automatically, the thing that popped in my head was, you just blinked. Oh yeah. I got so jazzed and so excited. I'm blinking on my own. And you would be amazed. It sounds like it wouldn't be true, but my mood instantaneously changed because I found something in that moment to be grateful about. And it was, something, how often do we think about blinking, right? Most of us, unless you got dry eyes or some other type of system going on, we don't even think about blinking. But it just showed me in that moment that there's always something going on for the good of me. How lovely is that? How precious did I feel in that moment? Yeah, I've been overlooking this. Yeah, I don't have a job. I got my marriage, 20 years is just crumbling around me. And I got diagnosed with this autoimmune disorder. But look at me. And I smile even now from ear to ear thinking about that moment and how warm and how loved and how supported I felt in that moment because I found something to be grateful for. So I encourage people that life is a circle. We are, either in the middle of something we are not enjoying, coming out of something like that, or getting ready to head into something like that. And that's not said to be discouraging. That's said to let you know that you're okay. You're on the journey and you're perfectly where you should be in this moment. Even still, in the midst of what's going on, find something in this moment to be grateful for. Your whole day will change.
Such a powerful message, my friend. And I found it to be true in my own life. Dravon, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, I want to dive even deeper into this topic of gratitude because it is one of the keys, as we've been discussing, of changing your life. So we'll be right back with Dr. Dravon James of drdravonjames.com. Be sure to swing by our website. We'll be back in a moment.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
Inspiration for a Woman's Soul. Aspire Magazine, inspiring and supporting women on the path of self-discovery. Claim your free digital subscription today, which includes access to thousands of dollars of personal development bonus gifts from Team Inspiration partners. Claim your Aspire magazine subscription today at subscribetoaspire.com.
Hey America, we need to have a little talk. We've got more food than we know what to do with in this country, yet 17 million kids in America are struggling with hunger. Makes no sense. Luckily, the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks has volunteers gathering excess food and getting it to hungry kids. They're kind of like food angels. Hey, become a food angel yourself by supporting Feeding America in your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. We can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business.
Hi everyone, this is Shay Parker, the host of Best of the Best, which airs live right here on IOM Radio every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific. I'm super excited to bring you expert guest hosts, spiritual discussions, free psychic readings, and so much more. I can promise that you will not want to miss this one-of-a-kind, fun, yet touching, down-to-earth show. Join us every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific on OTR-FM. This is Shay Parker, and I can't wait to see you there.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
Welcome back. You're listening to Inspired Conversations. I'm your host, Linda Joy, and with me today is Dr. Dravon James, founder of Everyday Peace. So the story you just shared about lying in bed in one of your darkest times, I call those times the cosmic 2x4, right? And I've had so many in my life and was such a slow learner about how to shift things. And so now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna listen before I get another cosmic 2x4. But I've been exactly where you've been. I'm sure many of our listeners lying there in that bed going, what the heck is happening? How can I find something to be grateful for? And I remember lying in my bed, having one of those moments like you. And I remember just going, I'm grateful for this bed in this moment. So, like some people don't have a bed. I'm grateful for the blankets. Like I had to really stretch, right? Because my heart was hurting. It's in that moment of stretching, like you found connection with you blinking. Mine was the blanket. It may sound simplistic to those of you who may be listening, but I am going to tell you, when you can focus on the little minute things in your life, that's when everything shifts energetically. Did you find that to be true? Like you shared, once you realized that you got jazzed and sparked, you felt the energy shift. That's a physical transformation.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that the feeling is all over me again, but in that it was almost instantaneous. And you do a gratitude practice. I do too. I do this active gratitude where I write down 3 things immediately that I'm grateful for and on the card. And once like I said, I was struggling for the first one, but once I got that one there, it was again one of those moments where the tension that was in my shoulders, that was the heaviness that was in my head, it lifted. And there I was. It was almost like the dawn of a new day, almost literally it was, but inside of me it was, because then I'm scribbling away on my gratitude card and I'm energized. Let's get out the bed. Let's get started. And, at first I had awakened that morning with this, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's true. Yeah, yesterday did happen and this is wrong and that is wrong. And, and then it started to descend on me all over again. But as soon as and this is the point I don't want anybody to miss either, is that yes, discipline is required, because I could have just said, this is too heavy, rolled over, put those covers over my head and just sunken more and more into this feeling of despair. But I was disciplined. I just woke up. I just opened my eyes. What is my practice? To reach over to my nightstand, grab that index card and that pen and start writing. And there's a part of me that said, no, you don't want to do that. Look at, where's that gotten you? Look at where you are. We're human, and that part is in there, and it's talking as well too. But, I always say you feed the part of you, that the voice inside that you want to see more of. And I said, this is what I know. This is the practice. This is the discipline. And I started writing. And in that moment, I felt lifted. I felt more encouraged. So even if this is, for the listener, hopefully someone hears this that needs to hear it, even if you don't feel like going forward in your practice because the world situation is showing you something that doesn't feel good, discipline yourself. Discipline is required on this journey. Discipline yourself to go forward in your practice. Maybe you can't do it to your full extent. Your heart's not 100% there. The practice, the discipline, your heart will follow. Your day will improve. Your mood will improve. You'll start to be in the present moment and start to really get grounded in the fact that, yes, you are safe.
That's beautiful. And I can attest to the fact that at the beginning when I tried, there was times I didn't feel the gratitude in my body, but I committed, like you said, to the practice of my 5 morning things. But here's the magic, Dravon, and it sounds like you experienced the same thing. Because I committed to the practice and wrote the things down that I was grateful for, even in my darkest days when I couldn't feel the gratitude in my energy field, soon I began to feel it. And then what happened? More things became into my awareness of things that I was grateful for. And then more blessings came into my life, more opportunities, more miracles. And I still believe to this day that because I committed, even when I didn't want to, even when I didn't feel gratitude, it is what brought me through my dark times and into the life I'm meant to live. Is that your truth also?
Oh, yes. We're just really doing some work here, Linda.
Oh, yeah, baby.
And I love it. So yes, and it's no surprise. That's how the universe works, right? So we often hear that opposites attract, and that's so, I think, so incorrect, because what happens is that when you stand in this place of gratitude, you shift energy. And I love this. Sometimes my mind just works in, I'm 60s, 70s baby. So my mind works in terms of these wonderful cartoons that I grew up watching. And I see this little, Mickey Mouse, with the magician thing on shifting the energy. But this is literally what happens for us. When we practice gratitude, we start shifting energy. And when we shift energy, we shift awareness. And when we shift awareness, we become aware of things that already existed for our good. So what happens is that your mind, this is so beautiful. Your mind starts to say, oh, we're noticing good things. Is that what we're doing today? And it goes out and finds more things for you to be aware of that are good. So, and I'll give you a case in point. If you say to yourself, well, I'm going to set out to buy a new vehicle. It's going to be a Toyota, whatever. I don't know cars that much. So you name whatever car you want to. And your mind, you bring that to your awareness. You'll drive today and you'll notice more Toyotas than what you've ever noticed before, because you've given your mind something to do. It has a task. Its job is to bring that to your awareness. So my point is, when we practice gratitude and we say, I am focused on things that make me feel like this, the mind's like, oh, okay, you should have told me that earlier. Let me go get some more things for you that make you feel like that. And it works in reverse too. If we sit and I'll go back to my example from 2015. If I had said, you know what, I am focused on things that make me want to lie in the bed and cover my head up all day. And the mind says, oh, okay, well, let me get you some more things that'll make you feel like doing that. So the discipline, the practice of gratitude, it is so liberating. But what it will do, the transformation power that it has in your physical life is amazing. And we only need to take the first step and say, I'm going to discipline myself. This is a gratitude practice. There are so many out there. You can pick one that's easy. the easy for you in your lifestyle, the important thing to do is to discipline yourself so that it's something you can do and will commit to do every day without fail.
Yes, this is such an important conversation because to me, the gratitude practice is one of my number one stress relievers. I have a personal question for you. So you write them down on the index cards. I'm curious, what do you do with the index cards after?
Oh, so let me just explain the whole index card thing with you. So I write in my index card, I write what I'm grateful for that happened yesterday, 3 things that happened yesterday. And then I write 3 things that are currently happening or that will happen, haven't happened. And what I mean by that, like I'll set an intention. Like today, my intention was that I will be calm and patient. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for my calmness and my patience, right? Got a busy day. It started at 4:40 this morning, ends around 10 o'clock tonight. And I will be calm. I am grateful that I am calm and patient all day. So when I write those 6, so it's really 6 things, 3 on the front side, 3 on the back side. 1 are grateful for the things that were given to me yesterday and grateful for the things that I have right now or that I'm intending to create. I take this card, and I have it in my hand now. I take this card with me all day long, and I'll tell you why I do that. So I'm working, I will put it like on my desk or I'll put it near my computer. And why do I do that? Because I know that today I am human. I am going to have all of the human emotions evoked in some way, right? I'm going to feel happy. I'm going to maybe feel sad, a little bit disappointed, a little bit frustrated. And when I am aware of my mood, and we'll talk about how I stay aware of that, but when I'm aware of my energy shifting in a way that depletes energy from me, that makes me feel less productive, that makes me feel not less powerful, let's say that, makes me feel less powerful, I pick up the card and I just start reading. Without effort, my mind shifts. It says, yeah, well, you're the girl who's grateful for this, and you're grateful for that, and you're grateful for that. Automatically, I start feeling lighter. I put the card down, I go back to the next task. When I leave that venture, I go to my next venture. The card comes with me. I keep it all day. It's on my nightstand. I go to sleep. I wake up the next morning, that card gets to recycle bin. I make a new card, and that is my life. So on the weekends, I shove it in the pocket of my jeans. It goes with me in my pocketbook. That's what I do with the card. And I'll tell you the thought behind that is this. When we're in the thick of it, if you will, when we are having an emotional situation that doesn't feel good, that's when we're really challenged to be grateful about something. We all know that. Something happens to us and it tanks our mood, it tanks our feeling of security. And someone says, oh, well, you need to find something to be grateful for. And you start scrambling in your brain like, I can't think of anything because you're fixated on that problem. You're human. But if you have this card, it means you've already done your work for the morning time. You've already made provisions for that, right? You can't necessarily control every external situation that's going to happen today, but you've made provisions to be successful, emotionally successful, no matter what. So that's why it's important to do that card in the morning.
I love it. I love that you carry it around. For me, it sounds like it's an energetic imprint that you're carrying all day too. And Dravon, we're going to take another break, and when we come back, I want to talk about why it's important to acknowledge the presence of stress and maybe why someone's current coping strategies for dealing with stress may leave them feeling anxious or incomplete. So, my friends, we will be back in a moment with Dr. Devon James, founder of Everyday Peace. You can learn more at drdravonjames.com. We'll be right back.
This is OTRFM, part of the IOM radio network.
Are you being called to step into your truth and embrace your divinity? Are you ready to align your heart and soul, live an authentic life, and become a divine magnet for love and abundance? It's time to listen to your inner wisdom and clear the blocks holding you back from your best life. Leading intuitive prosperity coach, Akashic Records practitioner, and evidential medium Jamie Hearn of liveyourdivinity.com empowers and supports spiritual women like you to align your inner and outer worlds, embrace your soul's truth, and live your divinity. Through her intuitive gifts, grounded wisdom, and empowered coaching, Jamie guides women back into sacred alignment with their truth. Visit liveyourdivinity.com to learn more about Jamie's empowering programs and to schedule an Akashic record reading.
OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
This is Terry Van Horn, and I want to invite you to join me for my weekly radio show, Healing Light, on OMTimes Radio every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Healing Light, we want to bring love, light, and blessings into your world. You can find out more about us at www.healinglightonline.com. Blessings.
Me, a cat, moving in with a new human. It took a little getting used to. She has these weird games she likes to play, like this giant feather. She sticks it in my face. I swat it away. She sticks it in my face. I swat it away. It's almost like she thinks I enjoy it. But seeing how much fun she gets out of it, well, I guess it makes it all worth it. Humans.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
Welcome back. You're listening to Inspired Conversations. Today we're talking about the power of a morning gratitude practice and the ripple effect it has not only on your day, but also on your life. So, Dravon, you share that it's important that we acknowledge the presence of stress in our life. So why is that? And why do some strategies leave us feeling more anxious or incomplete?
Oh, those are two great questions, because I think because some strategies make us feel anxious and incomplete, that's the reason why we practice avoidance, right? Because we don't want to feel anxious and incomplete. And so we're like, I'm just going to not deal with it. I'm not going to acknowledge it so that I don't have to have that feeling of being anxious or incomplete. But when I think about stress and what it does in the life, in our bodies and in our emotional health, I think about two things. One, not all stress is bad, right? There is good stress, if you will, right? Stress helps us to focus, and we'll talk about that a little bit too. But if you're getting ready to get married and you're having a wedding and that's stressful, you're moving across the country because you got a great job that you wanted, that's stressful. You get ready to have a baby and you're so excited, but a bit stressed. So not all stress is bad, but all stress needs to be dealt with, because running on those super high cortisol levels can be detrimental to the body and have some physical impacts that we don't want. But so I do think that we need to be aware of stress, because stress has a tendency to work like a computer virus. You know, if you have a virus in your computer, you may not be aware of it, but it's in the background doing all kinds of little tricky things. And then one day, you know, the computer's going a little bit slower, but you still don't pay attention to it because you're able to operate. And then a couple months down the line, it was acting bizarre. And then eventually it's not working at all. And all along, there was a virus that needed to be dealt with. Stress sort of works like that in the background. We're going along and we're adapting and we're getting coping mechanisms, but we're not really dealing with it. We're not addressing it. And before we know it, we have some kind of breakdown. And I don't just mean, you know, in the traditional sense of a breakdown, but something in our system isn't working right. We're feeling out of sorts. And we just can't get our life moving in the way we want to. So one of the ways that we can do to prevent that is do what I call daily body scans. That I didn't invent them. It's just how they work for me. Many practices use them, but I do check in with myself throughout the day. And when I first started this practice, I used to do it breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then years later, they had cell phones that had timers on it. So I'd set a timer to check in with myself. And it was really simple. I would just use some very loving self-talk. And I would say, you know, Dravon, how are you feeling today? But I'd be conscious about starting with the body scan from the soles of my feet. And I, say, oh, okay, well, your feet feel okay, or maybe they didn't. How are your ankles feeling? And I come up, how are your legs and your knees and your calves and, your stomach area. And I go all the way up to the crown of my head. And I would be patient to see if there was an answer there in the body, not in the head. So I'd wait to see if my feet were sore or if I were hungry, not a mental response, but if my belly just felt empty, I'd wait to see what I felt. And then I would assure myself, oh, well, we'll take care of that. Thank you for letting me know. And if I didn't feel anything, I'd thank my body for just being available for the questioning. And that would allow me, okay, if I get to an area, I say, oh my gosh, my shoulders are tight. And I'm a clencher. So that's how, I tend to clench. So I would notice, oh, you're holding your back really tight. I would just become curious. Well, why are you doing that? And I'd wait and see if the body had a response. And that was me checking in with myself and then waiting to see, oh, that meeting was really stressful. You need some sunlight. You need some quiet. You need to just listen to what my body said and then trying my best to give it that in that moment. Sometimes your body says, oh, I need a vacation. Well, we can't do a vacation right now, but how about listening to some ocean breezes? We'll put a app on and it has some of that ocean breeze in there. Or how about looking at this beautiful picture and taking your mind off of things for a moment? So those things were ways that I used to become aware of stress and how to give my body what it needed in that moment so that it didn't have to keep knocking on on my soul and saying, okay, you don't want to pay attention? Let me send you a bigger alarm. Let me send you a bigger alarm. And I really encourage people, pay attention. You're worth it. Spend some time with you. You'll find that you're the best company out there. You have the best conversation. You have a lot of the answers that you're looking for.
And it's such a powerful process because I think for so many of us, especially those who, like myself, stress was a part of our childhood. We have learned responses and we don't even know it in our bodies, right? So for me, and I still work on this, like you said, we're a work in progress. I hold my breath without knowing it. So I notice now I have to do exactly that beautiful process and listen and go, where's your breath right now, Linda? Right? So that I can honor my body but also release it from my body. So I love that you go all the way down to the feet and really listen to the conversation your body is holding. The other place I hold it is in my shoulders too. So I love that because that's something, the process you just shared, we can all do that. We can do it while we're sitting in the car. We can do it anywhere. It's a part of a powerful process that we have access to at all times. And there's so much wisdom in our bodies. Don't you believe?
Oh my goodness, yes. The body is so wise. It's the part of us that does not compromise or lie, right? How we get into situations and the mind can be very crafty. The mind can convince us to do things that the body has already told us it doesn't want to do, but the mind will say, well, it's okay to go ahead and do that. We know it's uncomfortable for you, but here's the benefits you're going to do. And the body's still screaming, no, I can't do it. It's not the right time or it doesn't feel good to me. And there's so much truth and wisdom in the body if we would go back to that source and just really be present and listen and ask questions and just wait. Just wait. Don't rush. I think so oftentimes, I use the word think, but I automatically, my mind said, I feel. So I feel oftentimes that we overthink and the mind is so tired. It probably says to us many times, if we listen, you have a body that has all of these answers. You just keep coming to me for everything. It would give our mind a much needed break if we could go into the body that has so much wisdom and intuitively feel the next course of action.
Yeah, I found that to be true. And that's still a dance that I have to practice daily, right? Because, this month I entered my final year of my 50s. So I'm on that cusp of I don't know, that old wisdom coming to the surface. But for the first 35 years of my life, I was disconnected from my body. So in the work that you do with clients, do you hear that phrase often, like, I'm always in my head? I'm
Yeah.
disconnected from my body, because that was my story, and one I have to be very conscious of even today.
That was my story too, Linda. That's so interesting. And I hear people say that to my clients that I work with. That's a common thing that, or they'll just say, I feel so crowded in my head. Like I'm always thinking, I'm always on. And what I rarely hear is the opposite, right? Is the other end of that. I am so disconnected from my body. I usually don't get people who say that part because they're unable to draw the connection that because they have over indexed on the thinking, it has caused a deficit in the body. And we're so removed from that. And what I tried to do is gently switch them. It's difficult for a lot of people too, myself in the beginning too, because I really, well, this is years ago, I didn't even understand when people would say, oh, you got to get out of your head. And I'm like, well, what does that even mean? So I get it when people say to me, I have no idea what you're talking about. And so meditation is one of the quickest ways that I know that anyone can start to reconnect with the body. And I hear it all the time when people say, I'm intimidated by that because I don't know how to shut the mind off. So if I may, I'd like to give a little practice that I do and share with my clients.
Of course, please.
And that is to just sit, and we just could do this for 2 minutes and close your eyes. And immediately, probably if you're like most of us, you close our eyes and either we're met with our daily to-do schedule, which is overwhelming, or some very unpleasant situation that we're dealing with. A number of things just start crashing into our head, these clouds coming in. But what I tell people to do, I say, so we're not going to turn the brain off because we need it. It's doing some wonderful things for us all of the time. We're going to give it an activity. So we're going to close our eyes and put ourselves in darkness, right? That's control. Is that amazing? You get to turn the lights out without even moving. That moves me right there. You're going to control that right there. You're going to turn the lights out. You're going to close your eyes. And then you're going to tell your mind to go searching for light with your eyes closed. The mind loves a challenge. It will do anything that you send it to do. It will do anything. So if you close your eyes and say, I'd like for you to go search for light. In that moment, it will leave you alone and let you just sit. And it's so, if you've not done that practice, I feel like doing it now as we're talking because it's just that soothing. So, and you do it for 1 or 2 minutes and you'll find that you'll probably decide throughout the day, oh gosh, I'd like to know what it feels like to be disconnected from the mind and into the body. I need that break. Give yourself that treat. Close your eyes. You don't have to do it for a long time. If you can do it for longer, great. But if you can't, you say, well, I can't meditate. I get too antsy. I can't sit for long periods of time. Well, give yourself 30, 60 seconds. Give yourself that, start really small. And then say, I'll do it twice a day for 30, 60 seconds. I can guarantee you, eventually your body will start calling you. It will say, I need your attention. I need time with you. And that really helps you to reconnect with the body, to get in what we call flow, right? And, I get that a lot from my clients. They'll say things such as, I just feel like I'm out of step with things. And that thing that you're out of step with is your body, your intuitive energy. You're out of step with that. And you can recalibrate yourself at any time.
I love that you use that word, recalibrate. I use it often with my Mindset Mojo clients and my conscious entrepreneurs that I work with. It's like, you have the power to recalibrate. So we're so aligned, my friend.
We are.
Yes. And Dravon, we're going to take our final break. And when we come back, I want to talk about, because you share so much wisdom, but I know a lot of your work also has to do with positive self-talk. So in the last segment, let's dive into that. And I'll be back in a moment, my friends, with Dr. Dravon James of drdravonjames.com. We'll be right back.
This is OTRFM, part of the IOM radio network.
What if you were living just one perspective of your potential? The truth is, we have lost how to live in partnership with Spirit in a participatory way. Sarah Breen, also known as the Shadow Walker, is an integrative shamanic energy medicine practitioner and international best-selling author. Sarah guides you along your journey, reminding you that true healing happens when you walk a path of authenticity and integrity. By doing so, she awakens within you what has been locked away by fears, beliefs, and trauma. With over 15 years working in the energy realms of spirit, she is deeply committed to cultivating sacred space for clients and helps them express their true selves and live free of the chains of their ancestors' unexpressed lives. Learn more at mindspiritmapping.com.
The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
This is OTR FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
You're listening to Inspired Conversations. I'm your host, Linda Joy. With me today is Dr. Dravon James, founder of Everyday Peace. So I have just so loved this conversation. We have so much in common, energetically, the things we believe, and I'm just enjoying our conversation. And I am excited to dive into this next part because it's something that I love and believe in, and that's the importance of positive self-talk and how we can utilize the power of our words. So please share your processes and thoughts on this topic.
Okay, so first I want to tell people that what we have to be aware with is that we are always talking to ourselves. We couldn't stop if we wanted to. We are the mind is just a little chatty. It's always saying something. And so again, moving into this place of awareness to realize, what is it saying? It has an opinion, dialogue about everything. So once we become aware that, oh my gosh, that's me chatting about this, chatting about that, then we become more aware and realize that, oh, that's me chatting about me. Now, this is important. You start to become aware and realize, what am I saying about me to me? Well, you're not enough. You're going to fail again. You're scared. Aren't you scared? You should be scared. You've not done well in this situation, right? Once we become aware of that, we realize that, okay, this is not friendly. This is not productive. This is not getting me the results that I want and deserve. Then we realize, well, if it's me who's doing the talking, it seems quite silly that I would talk against myself. So once we look at it that way, self-talk becomes demystified. And now we realize, how do I go to work changing this? And it's very simple. I like simple processes that are duplicatable. And what I call, this is loving myself without shame, guilt, or condemnation. Loving myself without shame, guilt, or condemnation. That scares a lot of my clients because they're in a place where they think, well, I did this and that was bad. It hurt people. And so how is shame, guilt, or condemnation helping those people or helping you? Right? So that we got to be very logical with the brain. It likes that sometimes. And they say, okay, it's not. But there is this false belief that we get better through punishment. That's not true. We get better through love and reinforcing the good in ourselves. And that's what self-talk can do for us. It can provide unconditional love. It can provide the reinforcement that we need to make the conscious changes that we need to make in our walk, in our journey. So self-talk looks like this a lot of times for me, is asking myself questions. I wonder what it would look like if I could just love myself through this experience. I understand it's painful. I understand it's scary. I understand I don't want to be here. I wonder what it would feel like if I could decide to love me. All of a sudden, guess what happens? The brain says, oh, is that what we're doing? We're going to love you no matter what? Okay. It answers the question for us. So just switching the self-talk from condemnation to love, small little shifts, and shifting it from fear to curiosity, because a lot of self-talk is fear-based. So becoming curious. I wonder how it would feel if I decided that everything is going to be okay. Yeah, I get it. I understand it's not okay right now. I understand I can't see it. I understand it still hurts, but I just wonder. That makes a huge difference between, I know it's not going to work. I know I'm not good enough. I know I failed before, right? I wonder what it would be like to have my first win in this area. Wow. Now the brain has something to work on. So get in the practice. I encourage my clients to get in the practice of asking curiosity questions in a positive way of yourself. When you find yourself and first becoming aware, and you become aware of a lot of things when you do that body scan we talked about a few minutes ago. When you're doing that body scan, you become aware of a lot of things. Oh, am I saying that? Well, you jot it down. I'd like to say this instead of that. I'd like to believe this instead of that. No condemnation. You are where you are. You're not there to condemn yourself for being truthful with yourself. You're there to make positive changes that lead you to become the happiest person that you know.
I'm loving this conversation, my friend. And what I'm also hearing too is something you said, that it's almost like when you give your brain an assignment, and you mentioned about when the brain is saying, oh, she wants these kind of thoughts instead, it gives it something to chase instead of the negative thought. But going back to what we said 2 segments ago, it is also going to now energetically align you to more of that and those thoughts that will elevate your thinking, instead of aligning to bringing in things that will align to where your negative thinking is. So for me, it's an energetic reset too. My question always is this one that I've been using, I'd say, for the last 2 years, because, stuff comes up, right? For all of us, even though I've been on the spiritual journey for 30 years, that self-talk will come up and I go, is that the truth of who you are? And I let my soul answer. And it always, I got to say, it took me a while, but now I just go, Linda, is that the truth of who you are? And the answer is no, because we know the truth of who we are is not those thoughts in our head. Truth of who we are is our divine essence, our source, our love, our joy. And that's my reframe question. And that's what's been working with me for the last 2 years, because we've gone through some challenging times. My honey got diagnosed with 2 brain injuries, one a pituitary tumor and a aneurysm within 4 days of each other. So we've had 2 life-changing surgeries, and then I underwent emergency surgeries 2 months ago. So in 18 months, 3 life-altering emergencies. And guess what? Through it all, the fear, the questions, the what ifs would come up, and I'd go, is that the truth of who you are? It's life-changing, right? When you can ask, your mind can ask your soul a question. So we are so in sync.
We are.
We are so in sync in the work you are doing in the world through everyday peace and all the other magical aspects of what you do with your clients. I'm just so grateful our paths crossed. I'm so grateful that you were able to join me on the show so I can get your wisdom and offerings out to the world, my friend. You're a special lady. So
thank you. And I just want to say, I know we're probably running out of time. Something that you just said. Yes. 9 out of 10 of I do these free discovery calls, and 9 out of the 10 people who call me, and I love that phrase, is that the truth of who you are. So I may have to borrow that. Have this statement, and it aligns with that statement that you're making. I don't know how to get out of my own way. They may say it differently, but it comes down to that. And that question that you're asking your soul to answer Really, is that the truth of who you are?
Yeah.
Is that the truth of who you are? And I'll tell you, I get on call after call, male, female, it doesn't matter. 9 out of 10 of them, the bottom line is that I don't know how to get out of my own way. There's a sense of confusion and conflict. And is that the truth of who you are?
Yes, it's a story we're telling.
Yeah.
So please borrow that, take it. But for me, it is the story. Fear and what ifs is a story. We're creating a story in our mind of something that may never happen. And it's taken away, I'll use your phrase, our everyday peace. And as someone that struggled with anxiety, as I shared for 3.5 decades, I realized the moment, and then I just noticed the time, the moment of awareness when I realized the thought I'm thinking is fear or negative, that moment of awareness, it becomes my choice, everyone's choice, of whether to stay on track with that thought or choose something new.
Mm-hmm.
That was the moment. And that question helps me pivot. So I hope we stay connected, my friend, because I love the work you're doing in the world. And I want to share your website one more time. It's Dr. Dravon. Oh, hold on, dravonjames.com. I invite everyone to go there, learn more about her offerings, and you have a complimentary discovery call.
I do. And if they go to that website, not only will they get the complimentary discovery call, but there is a free gift you can get right there about self-esteem and self-confidence. Another big one that people struggle with. And I simplify it. And I tell you, when you finish that, it's a brief tutorial. When you finish that session, you're going to be like, what? Yes, I can do this.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that sacred offering to my audience. I invite everyone to visit dravonjames.com. Grab that gift, schedule a discovery session. And Dr. James, thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Linda.
Until next time, my friends, choose love, choose joy, choose gratitude.
Thanks for listening to Inspired Conversations with publisher Linda Joy. Join our sacred space every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern and meet leading female visionaries, empowering authors, heart-centered female entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers. Inspired Conversations with Linda Joy is a soulful venue where guests share the obstacles they've overcome, along with wisdom and lessons learned on their personal journey that led them to the transformational work they do in the world. Inspired Conversations to empower you on your path to authentic and soulful living.